Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Silverstone, where we are just green for 30 minutes of qualifying, which is going to set the grid for the 10th race of the International GTOpen season. You join myself, Ben Evans, on a breezy and overcast morning here at the home of the British Grand Prix, but the action on track is going to be very hot indeed, because we have got 24 supercars that comprise the International GTOpen grid this weekend, taking to the circuit. And after yesterday's entertaining race, which was claimed by Albert Costa and Philip Fromvilla, their third victory of the season, enough to move them up to third in the championship standings as well. A lights to flag win in the Lexus. Second place went to Giovanni Venturini and Marco Mappelli in the Imperiale Racing Lamborghini, and that means that Venturini now leads the championship by 2 points from his teammate Thomas Biaggi. Venturini and Biaggi, who'd shared a car up until this weekend, but they're now in separate cars. Venturini alongside Mappelli, Thomas Biaggi alongside Raffaele Giammaria, and then Biaggi on 70 points behind Venturini 72, Fromvilla and Costa on 66 points, Fran Rader and Victor Bouveng on 60 points, as are Miguel Ramos and Mikel Mack, who are fifth in the standings. So it is going to be very, very close indeed. So they have got 30 minutes of track time to play with, but the big question for qualifying this morning is, what have the teams done with their tyre allocation for today? Because talking up and down the pit lane this morning, some teams used 2 sets of tyres in qualifying yesterday in order to get a good grid slot. I'm aware of some others that have got 2 sets of tyres saved for qualifying today. So we're going to see some combinations going for a couple of qualifying runs, others maybe just doing 1 run and leaving it at that. Now this is a driver who really needs to get a good grid position today. Mikel Mack in the Ferrari, and also Vitantonio Liuzzi in the Triple F Racing Lamborghini Huracan. Vitantonio Liuzzi and Hiroshi Hamaguchi, they've only had 1 Pro-Am podium so far this year. But Liuzzi, who knows the Silverstone circuit very well, not just from his time in Formula 1, but also when he claimed the Formula 3000 title with the Arden team. Did a lot of testing here back in the early noughties. So in car with yesterday's Pro-Am race winner, Sean Balfe, at the wheel of the Balfe Motorsport McLaren. And Sean was really on it in yesterday's race. A great performance from him to overhaul Valentin Pierberg late on to take Pro-Am class honours. Because, to explain, there are essentially 3 championships and 3 races that we will be staying appraised of today. Let's have a listen to McLaren. Turning in to Abbey now. Great to have the in-car footage this weekend. So yes, 3 races in one. There is the outright race and the outright championship battle. There is the Pro-Am race and podium as well, and the Pro-Am championship, which is currently headed by Sean Balfe and Rob Bell. They are 4 points up on Marco Ciocci and Pier Giuseppe Perezzini, with then Valentin Pierberg third. And then there is the GTAM Championship as well, which is headed by Manuel da Costa and Miguel Sardinia, but they are tied on points with Martin Conrad and Alexander Thraquina. So we have lots of different dimensions to keep on top of in the race today, as we follow Valentin Pierberg. Here is yesterday's race winner then, Philip Fromvilla, who didn't have to work too hard in the second half of the race after the advantage and buffer that had been built up by Albert Costa in the first half. However, for the race later on today, they have then got an additional 15 seconds of success handicap in the pit stop as a result of yesterday's race win. So therefore, a good starting position, staying with the pack early on, is going to be all important. Antonio Felix da Costa, meanwhile, moves to the top of the times in the Teo Martin Motorsport BMW, 1:59.5 for da Costa. Johnny Molam currently second in the FF Course Ferrari, and then Mikel Mack in third. And for Mack and Ramos, yesterday's race was a real disappointment. Mired in the midfield, never looked like they were going to get in the points. Now here's a car that could well challenge for an upper grid position. Com Ledegaard at the wheel of the Garage 59 McLaren that he shares with Alex West. Now, yesterday they were in the midfield, but they are hopeful of hunting, if not for an outright race podium today, then possibly a Pro-Am podium. Here's Davide Rizzo, currently the quickest of the AM class drivers. Rizzo alongside Alex Moisev in the Kaspersky Ferrari finished third in the class yesterday. After a good late race scrap with the sporting new Mercedes. Rizzo just picking up the pace now. If we can try, here he is, Antonio Felix da Costa, the very popular, very talented Portuguese driver. Something of a mystery, really, how he never quite got that Formula One seat, because he got the chance to form the Renault 3.5 in 2012. He was absolutely spectacular. But has gone on to great success in a variety of other categories. And he is possibly not going to do such a good lap this time around. The middle sector didn't quite work out for him. But he is currently top of the times, a 1 minute 59.5 to Costa. Second place is now Com Ledegaard with a 1 minute 59.7. Here is the Frenchman. Nice shot there into the top of the Garage 59 McLaren of Ledegaard seesawing the wheel. The sole Garage 59 entry this weekend, as Mike Benham is awaiting birth of second child. We hope to see Mike and Duncan Tappy back at Monza in a couple of weeks' time. So Com Ledegaard carrying the Garage 59 flag. And this slightly improved lap time from Ledegaard. He runs a little bit wide coming out of Club Corner through this middle sector. Third place is now Mikel Mack, 2 minutes 0.1. Johnny Molam is fourth. Raffaele Giammaria in fifth. Here is the Lexus. Oh, well held, just about. And we're expecting to see from Villa putting together a pretty good, we had been expecting to see him put together a good lap time. Indeed he does, goes ninth despite that moment. But it's Ledegaard who has set the fastest middle sector of the session as he hurtles down the Wellington Straight, arrives into Brooklands, swings into the left-hander. Just rides the curb, can take a big bite out some of the low-lying curbs here at Silverstone. It's a track that at times really lets you attack it. And then through Woodcote, Ledegaard needs to find 0.2 of a second to take pole. He does that with aplomb. He goes half a second quicker, a 1 minute 59.2. So Ledegaard takes pole position at this stage of the session. Second place is Antonio Felix da Costa. Third, Mikel Mack. Fourth, Johnny Molam. Fifth, Raffaele Giammaria. Sixth is Martin Conrad, flying in the AM class of the Mercedes. Martin's been really quick in that car all year. Seventh is Vitantonio Liuzzi. Eighth is Kang Ling in the Raton Racing Lamborghini. Now here is Mikel Mack, and this is going to be an improved time for Mikel Mack based on the first two sectors. He needs to gain half a second to overhaul Antonio Felix da Costa. Well, he can do that. Remains to be seen. He can't quite, but he does go sub 2 minutes, a 1 minute 59.9. But it's going to have to be a bit of a Big Mac, really, if he goes for pole, because he needs another 0.8. As he follows Valentin Pierberg. Some of the initial runs completed. So Ledegaard from Felix da Costa, Mack, Molam, Raffaele Giammaria 5th, Martin Conrad 6th, Liuzzi 7th, Kang Ling in 8th, Philip Fromavilla in 9th, just ahead of the second Lexus of Dominic Farnbacher, as Com Ledegaard has lost that pole position time for track limits. We saw him run wide at Club, and our timing screen tells us that unfortunately Ledegaard is not going to get that lap, but Fran Rueda is on a good one. So here comes the Ten Martin Motorsport BMW, which goes to pole and does so by quite a margin, a 1 minute 58.992 for Fran Rueda. He and Victor Bouveng scored victory in the second race of the weekend at both Paul Ricard and the Hungaroring. They were in the points yesterday despite the success seconds, and the smart money in the pits this morning was that the Theo Martin Motorsport BMW would be challenging for victory today. Certainly, Rader doing a great job. Meanwhile, Com Ledegaard, despite losing his time that was a 1 minute 59.2, has just responded with a 1 minute 59.1, so he remains in second place. There is Pier Giuseppe Perezzini, one of the front runners in the Pro-Am class, alongside Marco Ciocci. All the Ferraris this weekend just struggling a little bit. Oh, that was close. Schrader jumps around Perezzini. And that's because Fran Rueda is still on another flying lap here. Spaniard, who was very rapid in the Seat Leon Euro Cup for a couple of seasons, making a seamless transition to GT racing. He and Victor Bouveng, along with the team, really learnt the car through the first weekend of the year at Estoril, but thereafter have been right on the pace. Here's another look at it. Rader sees the Ferrari, goes around him. Now, Fran Rader and Victor Bouveng, they're only 12 points off the top of the standings, but all the cars in front of them in the title fight in today's race have got fairly substantial success seconds and elongated pit stops as a result. So for Fran Rueda, to move in this, a golden opportunity. All the cars into the pits up on the air jacks as we ride in car with Sean Balfe. And this is potentially going to be a good lap here for Sean as he turns into the loop, because he's just done a personal best first sector. He does a personal best middle sector as well. Down the Wellington straight. Jump out of the car. Watch for the front wheeler. Negotiate cops. And this field is super competitive. We've got the top 17 cars separated by just some 3 seconds or so. Sean Balfe does improve his time. Goes 16th, just jumps rookie Christodoulou. Shuffle at the front of the field. It's now an all Theo Martin Motorsport BMW front row, because Antonio Felix da Costa goes second with a 1 minute 59.5. Com Ledegaard then to third, a 1 minute 59.7. Michael Mack in fourth. Vito Postiglioni's just jumped up to fifth in the first of the 3 Imperiale Racing Lamborghinis, 2 minutes .070. Johnny Molam is sixth in the FF Course Ferrari. Then the Emil Frey Racing Lexus we watch now, Philip Fronvilla in 7th. Raffaele Giammaria in 8th in the Imperiale Racing Lamborghini. He shares with reigning champion Thomas Biaggi. And then in 9th place it's Martin Conrad. He leads the AM class. Vito Antonio Liuzzi in 10th. Now Giovanni Venturini, I anticipate we'll see some more from. He's currently in 14th place, the championship leader. But it's a possibility, given the way that Marco Impelli was pushing qualifying yesterday, that he's just got 1 new set of tyres for this session, which are about to be strapped onto the car. So we approach the midway point of qualifying. Manuel da Costa, yesterday's AM class winner, an AM class championship leader, currently in 19th place. Unlikely to improve on this lap because it's an out lap. So he accelerates through Woodcote. About to embark on a flying lap now. That's the order relatively stable now. Another car that we haven't seen much of is Ryan Ratcliffe in the Mercedes that he shares with Phil Keane. They're pushing for a podium today, and Ratcliffe on course to set that car's best lap of the session. Likewise, Michael Meadows at the wheel of the Jordan Racing Bentley. Now, talking to the team, they reckon that this is a top 10 potential car in qualifying. They finished 3rd in the Pro-Am class yesterday. Martin Conrad, the leader of the AM class, the MS Racing Mercedes, had a pretty difficult start to the year, not least at Spa when the car got eliminated from the weekend very early in the first race. But thereafter at Paul Ricard and Hungaroring, they've both gone very strongly. Here is Fran Rueda back out of the pits and immediately flying. He's done a very good first sector. He turns through the loop now. Comes towards the end of the second sector. It's a phenomenally fast time. It's not his best, but it's quicker than much of the rest of the field. And this is a track that suits the BMWs, and the team very good at looking at the strategy for the whole weekend. They took the points yesterday whilst preserving the tyres, and it means that they'll be looking to repeat the trick that they did in both Paul Ricard and the Hungaroring of then dominating race 2 on the Sunday. As across the line comes Rueda, and he goes faster still, a 1 minute 58.9. Now, Vito Postiglioni's just gone third in the Imperiale Racing Lamborghini, a 1 minute 59.2 for Postiglioni. Philip Fromerville gone second, a 1 minute 59.2 as well. So the pace elevating once more at the front of the field as we hit the midpoint of the session, and this is absolutely thrilling stuff as Postiglioni heads down the Wellington Straight. Confirmation that Fran Rueda is under investigation for that passing move on Pier Giuseppe Perezzini. Don't think we're going to see an improved time this occasion for Vito Postiglioni. No, we're not, because he's going to go into the pit lane. Michael Meadows possibly on a good lap. He's just done his personal best first sector in the Bentley. Ryan Ratcliffe in the Mercedes, only in 18th place. Now here is Vitantonio Liuzzi. Liuzzi on an out lap. The Lamborghini driver using absolutely every inch of the road. So the Huracan sings along the start and finish straight. Valentin Pierberg, currently in 23rd position, yesterday's runner-up in the Pro-Am class. And this shows just how competitive this championship is. But Pierberg, certainly through the first sector, his best lap of the session. Meanwhile, in the AM class, Manuel da Costa's just put together a superb lap to go 8th, as Alam Kader goes 2nd in the Drovex Mercedes. So Alam Kader, who had a frustrating afternoon yesterday, a 1 minute 59.2. He goes 2nd, just over a quarter of a second adrift of pole sitter Fran Rueda. And we've got, as we had anticipated may be the case, a very different complexion to the field today's race than from qualifying yesterday. Now here is Martin Conrad, Pier Giuseppe Perezzini. It's not what we want to see in your mirror, is it? Ferrari kicking sideways. So this is Alam Kader, and he's on another improvement. Drovex Mercedes has been an absolutely brilliantly sorted car all year. Has been right up there. Indeed, the Mercedes overall a good package, but the Drovex team have got an awful lot out of it. Alam Kader alongside Marcello Hahn. Com Ledegaard just ahead of Kader as he has re-emerged from the pits. So follow the Brazilian as he turns into Abbey. And then the sweep at Farm. Gets on the brakes, moves down through the gears into Village, and then the loop. Accelerates on towards Aintree. Again, just out using all the road. He's going to hope not to catch the Sporting U Mercedes by Brooklands. There's a possibility he may, which would be frustrating for Alam Kader because he is looking set to do his best lap of the session. The other driver who's on an absolute flyer is Raffaele Giammaria, who's just on the fastest middle sector of anybody in this qualifying period so far. So again, it's all going to shuffle momentarily as Kader accelerates through and goes quickest, a 1 minute 58.907. But here comes Raffaele Giammaria. So the time Giammaria's got to beat has shifted slightly. Cross line goes Giammaria to pole, a 1 minute 58.8. Raffaele Giammaria improves, but his teammate Giovanni Venturini is now the quickest driver through the first 2 sectors on the lap. The order just keeps shuffling The Imperial Racing Lamborghinis looking very strong, and Venturini does go quickest, a 1 minute 58.683. So at the 2/3 point of the session, the order is Venturini from Gia Maria, then Alam Kader is 3rd, Fran Rueda 4th, then from Villa in 5th, Vito Postiglione in 6th, was in 6th because Johnny Molam goes 5th, Antonio Felix da Costa is in 8th, Martin Conrad 9th, Com Ledegar in 10th, Liuzzi 11th, Mikel Mack 12th, Manuel da Costa 13th, Davide Rizzo 14th, Sean Bouth 15th, Kang Ling 16th, Dominic Farnbacher only in 17th, he's emerging from the pits, Ryan Ratcliffe 18th, Michael Meadows 19th, Valentin Pierberg 20th, then Nono Figueiredo 21st, Ricky Christodoulou 22nd, Mauro Calamia 23rd, and Pier Giuseppe Perezzini in 24th. The whole field covered by just 4 seconds. And here comes Com Ledegar, and Ledegar looking like he is going to do his best lap of the session. Is it going to be good enough for pole position altogether? Possibly not. I don't think he's going to encounter traffic this time around. He is going to catch the Solaris Aston Martin, though, with Mauro Calamia momentarily. Through Woodcote. Crosses the line now. And he goes quickest, a 1 minute 58.650. So pole for Ledegar. What can Johnny Molam do? Well, he's not going to improve on that lap, just pushing a little bit too hard to try and get track position over Pier Giuseppe Perezzini. So it's now Ledegar from Venturini, Gia Maria and Alam Kader. That opening quartet separated by just a 1/4 of a second. Fran Rueda in 5th. He's just re-emerged from the pit lane, as has Antonio Felix da Costa. Venturini doesn't improve on that lap. The Lamborghini Huracan blasts out of Copse Corner, accelerating on its way into Maggots and Beckett's. Meanwhile, low down the order, Perezzini goes up into 20th place. The very front runners, nobody looking like an improvement on this lap. We might get an improvement, though, from Michael Meadows. He's just done personal bests through the first 2 sectors. The Jordan Racing Bentley. Michael Meadows, the pro driver in the car, gives an indication of just how competitive the championship is this season. There is nothing to choose between them. The top 16 cars separated by just 1.7 seconds as Meadows accelerates through and goes 8th. So good lap from Michael Meadows, a 1 minute 59.3. Underlines the top 10 potential of the car. Mikel Mack is another driver who is looking likely to make an improvement from 13th position on the lap that he is currently on. Wait for him to come past that commentary box in a couple of moments' time as we follow Michael Meadows down the hangar straight. Yeah, Mikel Mack goes 9th, a 1 minute 59.4 for Mack. So the order, 6.5 minutes to run. Ledegar from Venturini, then Gia Maria, Alam Kader. That's staying for the past couple of laps. Fran Rueda in 5th, though, has just done his best first sector of the session. Johnny Molam in 6th, Philip from Villa in 7th, Michael Meadows 8th, Mikel Mack 9th, Vito Postiglione currently completes the top 10, ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa. And now the timing screen, looking at it once more, is all blue. So there's going to be another shuffle of the standings before we get through to the checkered flag. And this has been a thoroughly entertaining qualifying period. Fran Rueda is the man who's on the move. He's just done the fastest middle sector of the session so far, but then Giovanni Venturini, who we watch now, has just done the fastest first sector of the session. So what is going to happen? Well, here comes Fran Rueda out of Luffield, accelerating through towards Woodcote over the timing beam, and he goes quickest. Pole position by half a second for Fran Rueda, a 1 minute 58 58.136. So Rueda has absolutely nailed that lap. And now the exam question changes substantially for his rivals. Com Ledegaard up into second, a 1 minute 58.650. Now what can the Imperiale Racing Lamborghinis do? We're with Vito Postiglione, who hasn't improved through the first sector on the lap. Michael Mack also on quite a good lap at the moment as well in the Ferrari, but Rueda still greedy for more. As Mack goes through, completes lap and goes 6th, so that's an important lap time for Michael Mack. He and Miguel Ramos needing some points from today's race for their championship fight. Antonio Felix da Costa is also on a flyer, track position permitting. We watch Nono Figueiredo, who now heads the AM class in the Sport New Mercedes, a 1 minute 59.6 for him last time around. And then just behind the Brazilian is Michael Mack. Giovanni Venturini has gone up into second position, a 1 minute 58.364. So Venturini improves, shuffles Ledegaard down. Fran Rueda looking less likely to improve his time on this lap as Dominic Farnbacher in the Farnbacher Racing Lexus moves up into 7th place. Vito Postiglione goes 8th with an improvement. We've now got the top 16 cars covered by just 1.6 seconds. More changes, and it is in the form of Dominic Farnbacher, Vito Postiglione and Michael Mendes all posting improvements. Antonio Felix da Costa, though, as he heads towards Woodcote, he is looking as if he's going to put together a very, very good lap indeed. Across line, he goes into pole position, 18 thousandths of a second up on teammate Rueda. Delight for the Teo Marti Motorsport team, as da Costa and Rueda, they are 3/10 second quicker than the rest of the field, but it's the Portuguese Antonio Felix da Costa who has put in the lap. And we've got just 2.5 minutes to run. Fran Rueda is still pressing on. Is it going to be the same for Antonio Felix da Costa? Teo Martin trying to suppress a smile as he looks at the timing screen, but the session is not done just yet. Out of Stowe for da Costa, and he's backed right out of this lap, so he's not going to be posting another improvement. And that flurry of fast times appears to be coming to a close. We've got a lot of cars ducking to the pits. We've still, though, got the likes of Ryan Radcliffe down in 20th place. We'd expect to see him have done a little bit more. Ricky Christodoulou's had a very difficult session. He's in 22nd in the Wessex Vehicles Lamborghini, having lost his best times to track limits infringements. So we'll pick up Fran Rueda. Rueda into Luffield. He's still pressing. Is he going to come through and complete the lap? Yes, he is. Through Woodcote Corner for Fran Rueda. Over the line. And he goes top, a 1 minute 57.974. It didn't look likely, but he improves. And he now pips Antonio Felix da Costa by 86 thousandths of a second. So it's Rueda back into pole and da Costa back right out of that previous lap. Whether or not he's going to roll the dice once more or duck to the pits, we'll find out in a moment. Fascinating duel for the pole position, as now imagine that Fran Rueda is probably going to call it quits. Antonio Felix da Costa has embarked on one final lap, so let's see whether or not he's going to be able to get that jump on Rueda. We're back in car with Sean Balfe. Sean in 19th position. Accelerates through Aintree. Down the Wellington Straight. Michael Mack, meanwhile, has just improved to a 1 minute 58.9. Ryan Ratcliffe has also improved. He goes 17th. He's going to share with Phil Keane later on. So the clock has now just ticked to 0. The checkered flag goes out to bring to a close what's been an absolutely wonderful qualifying session. Hugely entertaining, and also sets us up beautifully for the race later on today. A real mix to the grid. And all the championship contenders showing strongly. Rider able to cruise back to the pit lane. Question mark about whether Antonio Felix da Costa may provide a sting in the tail, because da Costa is certainly on a quick lap. It's not looking like it's going to be the quickest. He only needs to find a couple of thousandths of a second, nonetheless, for the Teo Martin Motorsport team to lock out the front row. Very, very impressive going indeed. Keeping one eye, and there is in fact da Costa coming in, so he abandons lap. So it is pole position for Fran Rueda. He and Antonio Felix da Costa dueling for the pole all the way through the session. It's Rueda who got the edge by just under 900ths of a second. One last improvement from Ryan Ratcliffe, who goes up into 15th. Otherwise, the session at an end, everyone in the pits, or either having taken the checkered flag. So the team congratulate Rueda. We'll have a check then at how they're going to line up. Fran Rueda and Antonio Felix da Costa sharing the front row. Then Giovanni Venturini, the championship leader, starts third alongside Pro-Am pole sitter Com Ledegar. Raffaele Gianmaria in 5th alongside Alan Kader. Then Mikael Mack in 7th with Dominic Farnbacher in 8th. Vito Postiglione and Michael Meadows completing the top 10. So all three Imperial Racing Lamborghinis into the top 10. A great drive from Meadows in the Jordan Racing Bentley. Johnny Molam lines up in 11th, ahead of yesterday's race winner Philip Fronvilla in 12th. Nine Figueiredo taking AM-class pole ahead of Martin Conrad. They share row 7. Then it's Ryan Ratcliffe and Davide Rizzo. For Antonio Liuzzi, plenty to do from 17th, ahead of Kang Ling, who improved late on. Sean Balfe, yesterday's Pro-Am class winner, will start in 20th. And then Ricky Christodoulou, a difficult session for him, starting 21st. The same for Mauro Calamir in the Solaris Aston Martin, with Pier Giuseppe Perezzini and Valentin Pierberg, two of the Pro-Am Championship contenders, locking out the 12th row. It is going to be a fantastic race later on today. Make sure you join us just after 1 o'clock. Until then, from Ben Evans in Silverstone, it's goodbye.